What's up, everyone? Dan Blewett here, and I want to talk to you about routine, but I don't want to talk about routine. I want to talk about what happens when your routine gets upset. So in my other videos, in my podcasts, in my writing, you'll hear me harp over and over and over about how critical a great routine is. Doing the same thing every day, core drills that make you the best version of you, having intense focus on all of them, setting yourself up for success by having a regimented pregame routine, so you're doing the same thing, you're eating the same, all this stuff is critical. But what do you do when things don't go to plan, right? When the tournament director says, oh, instead of half-hour pregame, you have 10 minutes and you're starting. Or, in my case, you have a life event that just says, Dan, you're not going to be able to be prepared for what comes next, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So in 2014, I was on the tail end of my recovery from my second Tommy John surgery. And as it happened, our old location for Warbird Academy, the bigger baseball facility that we had a small gym in the corner of, that was, we had two separate businesses, the big baseball academy was going out of business. So we had to find, my partner Lucas and I, we had to find a new space in the month before I was leaving to make my comeback into pro baseball. I'd worked hard for 2 years to try to get back into baseball, and I had a spring training invite, and I was going. But as it turned out, life happened, and we had to take our entire facility and remake it in a new location. And when we finally got the keys, we had 17 days to do it. And these were the 17 days before I was getting in the car and driving to the East Coast to pitch my way back into pro baseball, to make a team. And so those 2 weeks, those 2 weeks and 3 days, I was on my hands and knees scraping old tar off of a floor so we could lay turf on it. I was screwing drywall into the walls. I was changing toilets. I was painting. I was drilling holes into concrete. I was creating mounds out of plywood. I was like everything you can imagine, outfitting a new sports performance facility, we were doing. And it was grueling work, 16 hours a day. We barely had time to sleep. We were just absolutely exhausted. And I got to throw maybe 2 or 3 times. During that whole time, I didn't work out. I didn't do my arm care. I was the least prepared. I was prepared so well up until that point, and then I just plummeted. And I couldn't do anything about it. I had to do it. It was our survival as a business, and it was bigger than just me. And so I threw once or twice off the mound, and that was it. And it was like off a plywood mound in the middle of a concrete floor. I was so exhausted I couldn't even throw it very hard. And I drove out to try out. And I said, how is this going to go? Like, I know the value of routine, and I know what I should have been doing to be in great shape, and I've done none of those things in almost 3 weeks. And you lose a lot of your gains in just 2.5 weeks. And I decided that I didn't care. I was going to make that team no matter what. I didn't care if I was unprepared. I was going to be mentally tough enough to still summon the best part of me to make that team. So when I showed up in the spring training, my velocity was not gone, my command was not gone, I could still throw all of my off-speed stuff for strikes the way I needed to. Nothing changed because I refused to let it change. I refused to say, I'm unprepared, I give up. I'm unprepared, I can't do this. I'm unprepared, I'm not going to make this team. I showed up and I said, I'm unprepared, let's do this anyway. I don't care. I didn't forget how to pitch. I've been pitching for 27 years. I didn't forget. I didn't have a good 2.5 weeks. I'm exhausted, but I'm here. Let's do it. Let's show up. I'm going to do it. We're going to make this team. And I threw extremely well, and I got cut anyway. So life happened again, but the point was, as much as I come to rely on a great routine, and I still see this immense value, you still have to be ready to react and ready to win and ready to be tough enough when things don't go your way. Your routine will get upset. Your routine will get destroyed at times, like mine was. And then you have to be mentally tough enough to say, my routine is valuable, but I am bigger than my routine. And my routine from all these years set me up to still be successful despite this short-term failure in it, whatever it was. So it's always up to you, and mental toughness will get you through many more things than you think. So stick to your routine, stick to your guns, prepare to be a champion. But when things don't go to plan, remind yourself that it doesn't matter, that you're a champion, and that you're going to do it anyway.